Hi. Okay, so today's video is all about challenging yourself, especially when you're in a setback, a crisis, when you're in resistance, and when things are going not your way. So as you know, I'm in a setback, and um, I have. It is very easy to get lost in spirals when you're in a setback, right? You think, I'm never going to get better. I can't. There's all these negative thoughts swirling inside your mind. Your anxiety starts to get high about all these symptoms. Um, and you seem helpless and hopeless to be able to do anything. Okay, but because I've been here before, this is not my first rodeo. I know that just creates more despair, more hopelessness. It makes the symptoms worse. It makes the merry-go-round go faster, and it perpetuates the problem. So, of course, I'm human and I get caught in it too. So this morning, uh, I got up. I was up for about 5 minutes. I just sent my kids off to school. My husband was here doing most of the work, but I managed to just kind of like get out of bed, make a show of it, say goodbye to them at the door. And then as soon as they left, I flopped on the couch and my husband went to work. I was so exhausted. You know, it's like that chronic fatigue exhaustion. So my vertigo's going like this. I've got serious brain fog. Can't think of anything. The room's just like super unsteady. And I'm fatigued beyond any hope of getting up. Okay, so even breathing is too hard to do, right? It's just so exhausting. Everything is so exhausted. You're exhausted to the point of collapse, okay? So anyone who's experienced this knows what I'm talking about. So I'm sitting there, my mind is spinning. I'm trying to sleep, and my mind is spinning around and around, all the negative what if, and how long is this going to go on, and all the negative self-talk, all the thoughts that get us into problems and make the problems worse. So you have to sort of not accept what's happening to you and that you won't do anything to try to make it better, but accept that this is the situation instead of fighting against it and being in complete resistance to it. You have to sort of, okay, this is what we're dealing with, and now, we're going to do this. But of course, I couldn't do anything. I was just KO'd on the couch, my mind whirling. I couldn't sleep. I was beyond the point of exhaustion. I tried to sleep for 2 hours. I couldn't move. I was going to the bathroom because I just knew I couldn't get up and walk to the bathroom. It was too exhausting. I needed a glass of water, but I didn't want to go get one. So just laying there, just kind of breathing this light, air breath, thinking, oh my God, it's too challenging to even breathe. So I took a big breath and I said, okay, self, your body wants sleep, but your mind is reeling and it can't sleep. So set an alarm. So just set an alarm. So grab my phone, I set an alarm for 20 minutes. And if you haven't fallen asleep by then, or if your mind hasn't quieted and you can meditate or be in a meditative state, then you are going to get up and you are going to do the opposite. You are going to move, whether you want to or not. So of course I laid there, nothing was changing. The negative thoughts were swirling. I wasn't sleeping. My exhaustion was getting thicker and heavier. The room's spinning, right? I'm in a brain fog. Feels like I'm back, 20 million steps and I'm just what ifing. And the alarm goes off and I think, okay, right. I probably can't even walk and get up and go, around the house once without feeling like I'm going to collapse. But I promised myself that when this alarm goes off, if I'm not asleep, I'm going to challenge myself. So challenge myself I am. I'm going outside, I'm getting in the sunshine, and I'm going for a walk. So I put on my boots, and I didn't have a plan. And I walked to the end of the driveway. I was like, okay, right, I'm going to go to the mailbox. That's about how far I can probably manage. I'm going to do it, right? So I start to walk a little ways down the street to where the mailbox is, and I decide, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself further, because this is just going to tell my body, you're right, you can barely even walk to the mailbox and back. You cannot do it. You're set so far back, and I know from being here that we can push ourselves harder than we even think is possible. We can do things that we think we can't. So I'm like, no, I'm going to the full end of the street and back. Right? This seems like an impossible task in my mind at this point, but I'm like, I'm just going to do it. So I just keep walking, not fast, not pushing myself, not grinding it out, just walking in the sunshine, trying to put my awareness on things other than my mind, getting lost in other things, which is not easy to do when all you're continually monitoring your symptoms. And I'm thinking, in the back of my mind, I'm going to exhaust myself. This is going to be too much for me. What if my vertigo is too bad and I fall over and I'm in a snowbank and I'm just left here, right? Your mind clings on to these things, right? Of course, none of that happened. I just kept walking. The vertigo came with me. The exhaustedness came with me. The fatigue came with me. And the brain fog came with me, but we went for a walk and we went all the way to the end of the street. Then at the end of the street, I was going to turn back and come down, and I was like, no, I can go down this hill, go on the other street, walk all the way back the other way, farther, and then up the hill and then back to my house. So this is a big, long loop that I like to try to do every day when I'm feeling well. And it takes me about in between 30 and 40 minutes. So my mind is thinking like, this is like, don't do this, right? But my brain says, no, challenge yourself. You have to challenge yourself, or you're going to get caught in this lie that your mind tells you that you're too weak to do this, that you can't do this. Your mind starts putting up limits. It starts making your world smaller and smaller and smaller. You can't walk. You can't go out of the house. You can't get up and do the dishes. You can't drive. You can't take your kids to activities. You can't talk to somebody. You can't, it just starts on and on and on, right? It's trying to protect you, trying to keep you safe, will just wall up all these invisible lies that hold you prisoner. And I know this because I've been there. So I thought, nope, I am going to just do it. I'm going to challenge myself. So I walked down the hill, and I knew walking down the hill that on the other side I was going to end up having to walk up it, but I just thought, we'll deal with that when it comes to it. If I can't walk up the hill, I guess I'll just sit on the side of the road for a while, an hour if it takes that long, and till I feel well enough to climb up the hill. So I kept walking. It was fine. You know what? It was fine. I felt good. I felt like I had enough energy. I totally did the entire walk. When I got to the hill, I was tired. I went very slowly up the hill, and I didn't push myself. I just went slow. I stopped a couple times, and then I kept going. And then I came home, walked all the way back down the other side of the street, and then all the way back to my house. When I got into the house, I was exhausted, so I sat down, a little cup of ginger tea and some liverwurst for some energy. And my vertigo is super bad. It's flying out of control. My brain fog is so thick that I was like, you can't make a video. Your brain fog is so thick that you can't even speak. But yet I'm speaking. I am speaking. So it's a lie that it tries to wall me off from society, from other people, from feeling too stupid or being able to make sense of words. Or it's a lie because I am talking. Even though I have thick, thick, thick brain fog, I feel like I can barely put one sentence together, but that is a lie. I'm doing it. Anyways, so the vertigo is thick, the brain fog is still super thick as I'm making this video, and the exhaustion is super high. But I did the walk, and I'm doing this video, and the symptoms haven't changed at all. I still feel like I could just lie down now on the couch and collapse the rest of the day. And maybe I will. I will give my body a break. I will listen to my body. But I don't want it to keep me prisoner. So when your body is trying to keep you prisoner, and if your body tells you to lay down and sleep, then do it. Lay down and sleep. It's telling you. But if you're laying there and you're not sleeping and your mind is reeling, give yourself a time limit and then do the opposite. Go for a walk. If you feel like I couldn't possibly talk to a person, my brain fog's so thick, then talk. I'm talking into this video. I'm doing it anyway. If your body tells you I simply couldn't get out of bed in the morning and get my kids ready for school and send them off, then you have to do it. That is the reason you have to do it. Because when your mind tells you you can't do something and you believe it and you give into it and you accept it, you start to put limitations on yourself and limitations on your life, and those patterns quickly snowball. This is how chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia and anxiety conditions all snowball very, very, very quickly, because we believe what our symptoms are trying to tell us at a level that's like beyond human, right? And then we say, oh, you're right. Like I am like this. And then we stop doing that thing. And then we think in our mind though, if we listen the next time, then if once we've done it 2 or 3 times, like I can't get up and get my kids ready for school, then all of a sudden you can't get up and get your kids ready for school. It's a mental barrier to break as much as it is a physical barrier to break. So I know a lot of people will think, oh, well, that's great for you. You don't have this or you don't have this. But trust me, I've been there and I've had every symptom, right? I've had well over 200 symptoms. I would say probably between 200 and 500 symptoms, right? Near death, the whole thing for years on end. I have struggled with and had every single symptom possible known to man. And I know that the human body is so much stronger, so much more capable, and you can do so much more. But it's when we believe our mind, we believe the lies, we actually perpetuate the problem. We keep it going longer. We keep the patterns being built. The neural, connections are being fired and wired together. And it's like how somebody develops a fear. They get afraid of something and then they get a fright and their body says, whoa, we have to be afraid of that forever. And then they're on guard to that thing forever. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So do the opposite. Push yourself, challenge yourself, and you will see that you can do so much more than you think you can. Challenge yourself. The symptoms are going to come with you. I'm not saying it cured the symptoms. Sometimes in the past, when the symptoms are less and I challenge myself and I do something, I'll actually lose the symptom by doing it. But you can't think, I'm going to go for a walk and that'll help my symptoms go away. And if they don't, then it was a failure. No. The success was that you didn't create a pattern. You didn't block yourself into a mental pattern of not trying. The symptoms are going to come with you and they're going to rage and they're going to be there. That's not the point. The point is that we don't want to block ourselves in to creating our life so small that suddenly we feel useless, helpless, and we can't do anything. We really believe that we can't do things when we can. So I'm not saying all the things are easy and all the things are attainable right at this very minute, but you'd be surprised. So challenge yourself. Go further than you think you can. Do the thing that you think you can't. When I was at my worst, I would pace around this house way back when I had so many symptoms and nervous symptoms. And I could pick up things, but I couldn't focus on things more than like a millisecond at a time, right? So it was very hard for me to stand in one spot and concentrate on a task that took like 10 minutes. I could do like 1-minute tasks at most, and I had to keep moving and keep going. Well, one day I just said, like, I can sit and fold this laundry. Like, this was such a task that I couldn't do anything that took focus and concentration and sitting in one spot. And I just challenged myself and I did it. And I realized, wow, I did it. How long have I been avoiding that and thinking that I couldn't do it? It was hard to do it. The symptom of wanting to get up and leave and pace was there. But I actually did it. I folded the entire basket and then I folded an entire another basket and I sat there. I think I was sitting there for like 25 minutes and I realized, I think that is the first time that I realized, like 4 years ago, like, holy shit, I did not think it was possible for me to do this. I absolutely 100% had no idea that I could sit this long in one spot and do a task. And I hadn't been challenging myself to do it. So I went from doing 1 minute, 2-minute tasks to like a half an hour task. And avoidance is something that your mind will definitely keep going to over and over and over to keep you safe.